All right, I want to chat with you guys and gals today a little bit about defining our primary exercises. And, this can be done even for hypertrophy purposes because these days I'm doing pretty much power building. I've gone from the powerlifting side over to training entirely for physique as of the last few months. And again, slowly making improvements. I don't really fully look like a power lifter anymore. And I'm calling it power building because I do some heavy low rep stuff on at least variations of my basic lifts, squat, bench, deadlift. But for the most part, my training is very much bodybuilder. There's a lot of single arm stuff, single leg stuff, laterals, 3 types of curls, we hit every muscle from every angle, all those things, so it is primarily hypertrophy work, pump work, again, using basic progressive overload. But at the end of the day, I still am sticking with this principle that we should have basic exercises, right? We should have a big basic movement, usually a barbell movement. In this case, I do have pull-ups in there, weighted pull-ups, and that's how we should start every workout, okay? Even if you're finishing with single leg extensions, even if you're finishing with reverse hypers, even if you're finishing with incline curls, rear delt lateral or reverse flies or whatever you want to call them. Even if this is how we finish, how do we start the workouts? Okay? And for me at the time this video is made, and it may be my split may change a little bit by then, I'm doing a 5-day split right now, 5-day body part split. Very different from the way I've traditionally trained. But I like to start each day off with a basic exercise. And I would recommend all of you do the same. And you need to define those because you need to plot the progressive overload on those. Okay. In other words, no matter what else is going on with your training, your big primary exercise, and I have them shown throughout the background here for my 5 days. Yes, and I know I'm counting upright row as one of them, not an overhead press. So you should have a basic exercise that you start with, and you should be chasing progression on that exercise. And when I say that, I'm not talking about at the expense of form. I'm not talking about at the expense of range of motion. We're not talking about at the expense of good form, right? We're talking about good, clean, quality reps, okay? Good, clean, quality reps. And for me at the time this video is made, I'm starting my workouts with some basic movements. And I'm not saying these are the ones that you have to do. In fact, for me, the safety bar squat's a non-traditional one. Doing it beltless is extremely difficult. Like, I actually really suck at that movement. I really suck at it. You guys have seen me squat 600 pounds in the past at a heavier body weight. So almost embarrassing. But the point is, here's my 5 movements that I do, and then you can pick whatever you want. But I'm going to recommend that you have some degree of consistency and you have a big movement that you start every workout with hard sets, and you chase progressive overload, no matter what else you are doing with your pump work afterwards. All right, so for me, on my chest and tricep day right now, it's, guess what? The bench press, right? You see me doing the bench press, the flat bench. Now that's what you see me doing in this video is just one of my rep sets after my heavy set, because I'm just using like 225 for high reps. But again, bench press. And for me, it's not a competition style bench press. It's a bodybuilder bench press there. Very wide grip, flat back, pause reps, okay? Very minimal to 0 leg drive. So we're setting up loose. We're not ratcheting it up tight like we would on a power bench. Because you guys have also seen me power bench 315 for 8. Bodybuilder benching is a different animal. Hey, but it's bench press on the chest and tricep day. Now, before people say, what about the well, the triceps get at least 3 different isolation movements later. Okay, so chest and triceps, we start with bench press. My next day of the week is my posterior chain. I'm starting it right now there with good old conventional deadlifts, right? Just a normal barbell deadlift, a beltless one, right? It's a classic. So far, this sounds very powerlifting until we get to the other days. We get to the shoulder day. No, it's not an overhead press. It's an upright row. I think the upright row is a better hypertrophy exercise. So again, if we're going to be bodybuilding or power building, we're focusing on physique, upright row. And it fits the bill. It's a barbell movement. We can load it relatively heavy, relatively, not going to be super heavy if you're going strict and full range of motion. But it's a big compound movement that works every muscle involved in that day, right? Because what am I doing on the others? Bench press is a chest and tricep exercise. So yeah, chest and tricep day, we start with it. We end up finishing with a bunch of stretch position movements for the triceps at the very end. But we start with the bench press and we do some heavy benching, and then I go a little bit lighter. Like I do a bunch of pump work on the bench too. And then I'll either do like some reverse grip bench, we'll do dumbbells, incline, whatever else I feel like doing. And then obviously then all the isolation work. With that posterior chain day, we start with the deadlift. It works the entire posterior chain with a big heavy movement. Then we go over the stuff like glute ham raises and reverse hypers and all that. Right. Shoulder day, because I have a whole day just for shoulders. Start with the upright row. And as I was saying, it absolutely fits the bill. It fits the bill. It is a big compound movement with a barbell. And it works everything. All three heads of the delt, works the traps, and it works a little bit of forearm, a little bit of bicep. But the arm work is very, very minimal. It's so minor compared to our other movements. We get to that back and bicep day. I start the day off with a weighted pull-up. Now, am I really counting that as a true bicep exercise? Not really, because I'm going to do 3 types of curls later. I'm going to do 3 different types of curls later in the workout after my back work. But it still works the biceps. People do get bicep growth even in studies from pull-ups. It helps, but it's primarily a back exercise. It's an amazing lat exercise. It works every muscle involved in our back and bicep day with a big, heavy, loadable compound movement. All right? Then we finish up the week with a squat of some type. At the moment, it's safety bar squats, all done beltless. And then we go on to all of our smaller stuff all the way down to single leg extensions at the end. Okay, here's the thing. No matter what else you have going on with your training, those big primary movements, that gives you your anchor. This is your base building. This is your bread and butter. And I'm not saying all the other stuff doesn't count, because it really does, especially if you want big arms. Those curls and laterals and stuff really start to add up. They add up a lot. But those big movements build everything. Really, those 5 movements, has every muscle in the body been worked? Yes. Now, has every plane and angle and head been worked? No. But if I just did those 5 movements and I progressed on them, I know that I will be growing. Now, at this time, I'm cutting, so it's not going to be much growth. But if you're progressing on those base movements, you know that you are gaining muscle, irrespective of what else is going on, and your other exercises will feed that. So in other words, if your shoulders are growing from all the isolation work, that upright row is going to get stronger. If the flies and extensions and everything are making your pecs and triceps grow, that bench is going to go up. So just be aware of that. These are your testers. They're your litmus test. They're your base building. They're the foundation of your training. And you should have a list of them. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.